Let's do it. It's 12:25. Christmas. Let's get into it. Boom, baby. The box. The box is here.
So this is the article in question, is it? Small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilded 2 months ago. On the night of Mr. Winterbank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop.
Quick, quick, let's open it and see what's inside.
It's a player! Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems.
Wow, although in truth I had an inkling that might be the case.
You did?
I didn't. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement.
Then, is it too much to expect?
I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord.
So we have the means to play back Mr. McGill's disc deposited with much the same time. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGilded's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus. But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGilded?
I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord.
Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last.
Hold it!
What was that?
Wait, my lord.
What, Gregson?
Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The music box and disc are, well, they're unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
Objection!
This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to understanding what happened. The prosecution has no objection.
But no, that piece of evidence is police property, you can't...
Clearly, Scotland Yard has some vested interest here, but it is the policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. You, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening.
Ah.
Tell him, Van Zeeks. You gotta. This is obviously Morse code. Right? Can't just be me. This is obviously Morse code.
What on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music.
Oh. It's the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence.
Mr. Graydon? This really is priceless.
Dance for me, boy. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom.
Much regret. I feel the court must accept this music box offers little in the ways of clues.
It's Morse.
Are you ready to move on, counsel?
No. It is a clue. I believe that it could be relevant, my lord.
Lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel. Mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever.
This sounds strange, I agree, but there's one thing bothering me. while Graydon stands there chortling victoriously, like a co-hero or something. The inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face, as if Gregson recognizes the sound and he's familiar with it somehow. That's making him appear extremely on edge. If that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, then answer me this. Oh. Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on the case? Not supposed to be music. Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that, the smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. Hell yeah. I'm on the right lines here. I must be. Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You're acting just like Hurley, Runo.
Objection!
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is for pure foolishness. They've got me. I don't know what the answer is yet. Runo, I've just examined the music box very thoroughly, and I'm fairly certain it's not broken at all. Really? That was fast. Really, the way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway. Thank you, Iris. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sound it's producing must have some significance that isn't musical. Ah! Could it be? Is that what these sounds are? Something's just struck me, Runo. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like this one. The one this music box makes. Actually, Iris, I was thinking just exactly the same thing. I'm gonna have to press the defense for an answer, if your assertion is that. And what the devil is it, counsel? The evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, all point to one single answer now. Prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of his latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm gonna get to fight back in this trial. If I'm right, it's gonna join all the dots together. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds on this music box disc is... Let's see. Just looking through. I know what it is. I just don't know the evidence that'll get me there because I can't think of it right. Unless it is this. Oh, you can examine this thing? Oh, cool. I'll try this, because I don't actually know what else it could be.
Take that!
Ace paper, counsel? The headline is Pawnbroker Perishes in Pickpurse Plunder. Hardly sporting on your cause.
Ah, no, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page.
Further down. Ministry of all classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter, being investigated at the highest level, I understand.
I've heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams? Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please. Stop. Oh, me, sir? Whatever's the matter? You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, didn't you? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports? Oh, yes. We're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. And tell me, does this sound a very familiar sound? You don't mean to say, is it? That's right, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code? I don't believe it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer.
Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code? Order, order, please everyone, order. This is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment.
Too much new vocabulary. What is treason and what is capital punishment? What the sort of words I half expect you to know? Oh my god.
Us foreign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price.
Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, McGilded perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed.
My word!
This is insane. What? In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must have surely been beside himself with worry. Because the disc would be discovered before it found its way out of the country.
It would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death.
So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by Mr. McGilded would incriminate it too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous. Absolutely preposterous.
In response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you?
Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyers are prattling away.
Objection!
Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. Van Zeeks, baby! Knew it. You like me. Delighted, I'm sure.
The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Winterbank, that being a most flagitious offence for which the law of the land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less serious a crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. So then, let us proceed.
Is that Sherlock or something? Sherlock Holmes? Nope, it's these. What? Why these two? You gotta let us have a rabbit aboard here, government. We got things to say.
I beg your pardon, who do you think you are?
Name's Nash Skulkin. Oh.
Name's Ringo Skulkin.
Name's Ringo Skulkin. We ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right. We know what they call it.
The Skulkin Brothers.
Bad time and fellas, very bad time. Oh my god, that didn't go anywhere? That was great. A mere communications officer can possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. With some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGill anyway, was it not? I've no relation to the man. Look, all we done is break into the gap the other night, like what he told us to do. If we'd have known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it.
Mr. Skulkin. On Mr. I'll do governor.
One Mr. I'll do, Governor. What's up?
I take it that you now admit to the crime, that on the night in question you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally. And moreover, you did so as a party of three in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here.
These idiots. We did, Gov, we did. Oh my god, these idiots.
Quieten down, please. What do you say to that, Mr. Graydon?
I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to.
You little rotter.
You little rotter, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It's supposed to be a straight-up job.
What about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? Poor Brook didn't have to die, did he?
Nice to know who your friends are. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, certainly was expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. As it has, I will admit it to the court record as evidence. Yep, that did, but like, we still gotta do this. I thought you were very skilled in high-ranking communications officer, so... So is this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted? How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important level communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information. Oh, stop. I'll say something. Stop. Let me guess. You're number 5. We regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us is responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry, and Mr. Graydon is the team leader. That's fascinating. Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop it. Currently in presence of idol. Stop it. Oh, she got a little crush.
So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon?
What of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so they can't be heard. In any case, all messages are sent in cipher. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them. Oh no, stop. Must say something. Stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and the ministry communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications, and receives the top prize of the cipher cracking convention 5 years in a row now. I know you're like about to go to jail, dude, but can I get some of that knowledge for me as a cryptography student right now? I really need that, actually. That's fascinating. Greatness. Oh. And your idol would appreciate it if you would keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, these lawyers' accusations are completely unfounded. Besides, the sounds produced by them. Really, what are they then? Oh. They're not? Anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent. I'm listening to that music box for even a few seconds. Of course, of course. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch, he looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir. A lesson here in court? This code is a continuous series of 2 distinct tones. Tones, you say? Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters. See? For example, this is A, and this is B. When you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you? Oh. That sounds so similar. The rhythm is the same in everything. but there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. Oh, what is it then? You shouldn't be surprised. What did I tell you? A music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. But you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in the future. Oh, stop. Nothing to say, but stop. Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it, Iris? I mean, government secrets are somehow being leaked using the music box. So many other things were sorted into place so nicely. Before I do that, let me just look at the thing again. What is this? Oh, what is it, Reno? I've just noticed something about this music box. It looks like the bottom of it opens up as well. You're right. Well, come on then, what are you waiting for? Let's open it. Alright then, here goes. Oh, look at that. There's another movement on the underside. So does that mean you can set another disc to display back on this side? It looks like the two movements are linked together. They're linked. You have two discs for a lock. There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in leaking government secrets. That's belief to the defense, at least.
Objection!
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponi's friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse codes, two tones are required, dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what?
Well, it would appear the defense has a hard list to put forward. You had better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose that this...
It has two sides.
Got it!
Good gracious, what am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box. What?
It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put two discs in the music box, and the sounds of both will play back at the same time.
Good heavens!
As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of two tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry? This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though, of course, if my learned friend were to present the court with the second disc, that would be another matter. Well, I can't at the moment. May I remind the court that, as the witnesses pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with Mr. McGilda 2 months ago, striking a deal over the disc or discs.
Indeed, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
Exactly! I had nothing whatsoever to do with it.
Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe cross-examination should continue.
Oh dear, it looks like you need to give your argument more strength, Reno. If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. Let's see what we got here. 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGildy killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seemed he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him. Doesn't make much sense though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? Oh, indeed. There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason. In order to take it to the meeting with McGilden and negotiate a deal. Dear me. You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you I have far more class than that. I'm a brickmaker from an artisan quarter and as well-to-do communications officer. It's not this, is it? There's no way. That'd be crackpot as shit if it was.
Objection!
Nope, that's not it. Was it worth a shot? Let's see what these two clowns have to say. Not that. This.
Hold it!
Mr. Graydon told you, do you mean? That's it, yeah, who else, eh? Silly me thought he was popping over for a matter after all them years, but the rudder had a dodgy job for us. Ash? Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? We're the sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure.
Excuse me!
Excuse me, Ringo. Something wrong, Mr. Skulkin. Eh? No, the other Mr. Skulkin. What? Who, me? Who, me? Oh, who, me? When you... Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have a right old laugh together way back when. Together with Mr. Graydon, you mean? Yeah, with Ash. I mean, you look at him now in his fancy whistle and flute. You wouldn't let him leave it. When he was younger, he was from the poor part of town, just like us. That, so... But he was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas like what never have gone through your heads. Poor blimey, ain't that the truth. Remember Milverton and Skilkin, Scott? Oh my god! There it is. That was a corker. His name is Milverton. Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom, and neither does your fruit. Oi, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was answered. Yeah, we did not nothing wrong. Add it to the testimony. Let's go. They're related. Briefly. A skulkin's never skulkin'.
Objection!
What? Alright, fine. I guess I have to press it first. I got ahead of myself. sure we're gonna regret asking it. What exactly was that? Some kind of business? Still the scheme we had. Yes, the little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. A bit of fun, really. Delivering fresh milk to the locals, that's what it was all about. Oh. That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be. One sec. The business name. I want to know more about it. This business was just a bit of fun, you say? It was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved? Yeah, that's it. Milverton and Skulkin's milk run, was it? Yeah, that's it. Where did Milverton part come from? All right.
Hold it!
Hold it. Enough of this. How much longer we expect?
Objection!
No, I want to hear more, bitch. Let me guess, you don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying? Tell me, why is it that only at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? Because well... It weren't the happiest of homes that one came from. Yeah. His old man was struggling for money so much, his wife walked out on him. Took the name Graydon, then you see. Ash will always be Milverton to us. So that used to be your surname, did it? Of course not, this is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. You really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, hmm? Your communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It will be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena these records, Mr. Graydon. Ah, well, Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable for once. Oh my god. Wario and Waluigi just undo this man. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct? Very well. Yes. Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton.
Hold it!
Shit, I didn't want to... I finally present this.
Objection!
Thank you. Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name.
Explain yourself, please, counsel.
I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we now understand to have been negotiating with McGilded.
Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton. Yes, love it.
But do you mean to say, fate's alive?
Mr. Ashley Milverton, this is not the case of the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton. Was your father?
I don't...
As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you join the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it on to McGilded in a collaboration with your father. Wow. Who'd have thought? The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? that you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded.
By dint of this music box, you mean, Counsel?
Yes, stealing information at being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to McGilded. Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information. Pretty clever, actually, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands.
A very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever.
I know, it's crazy. I love this.
But the deal with
McGilded went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc of the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, you appeared at Windbank's 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles Mr. McGilded had placed in pawn there. But that attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc. He did mention a second disc in the investigation. I just remembered it.
Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box?
We never knew nothing about that. On the night that Mr. Windibank was killed, the writing in this is brilliant. Even by Ace Attorney standards, this is incredible. The intruder of the pawnbroker touched one item and one item alone, the music box.
That was rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera, indeed.
The question that naturally begs answering is this: why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to receive. Since, if it were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Sir, there appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket.
What?
Ah. 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windibank's pawnbrokery. 1 took the life of the pawnbroker himself. 1 struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it? He's got you now, me old China. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon. Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly I was a fool to think I could trust some common backslum thieves. Fine, I admit it. I was there in Windibanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets, negotiating with Mr. McGilded. As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. He's not going to go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose. Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is... Well, we know that 1 bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Shulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the bullet from Mr. Windibank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm. But who shot Windibank?
Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself.
And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Windibank was shot by a 3rd gun. That he had, right? It's only been fired by the 3rd intruder. Yeah, it must be.
Goodness.
That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could have possibly shot Mr. Winterbank that night is you. I disagree.
Hold it!
That's what you sound like? Hold it. Hold it.
You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here.
What? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawnbrokers. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I'd built myself. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? Possibility that I was there at the scene. I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see, this makes me a key witness in this case. I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. Bullshit. What?
What are you suggesting?
I saw it all. I saw the very moment the pickpocket girl pointed the gun at that poor defenseless pawnbroker and shot him. You... what? No, you don't. This is a lie.
Order, order, order.
Well, we're finally entering the last act
Of this theatrical trial.
Mr. Graydon. Yes, I trust you are fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as a killer. Oh, I understand fully. I don't think, for some reason, I can't decide whether or not he did it. I think there might be a big bad.
You explain to court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim.
Nothing would give me greater pleasure. I don't know. Exactly, Paper Star. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance of the shop. When Winterbank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through a peephole in the door, though. The accused, in a black coat, shot the man in the back. She was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood spatter all over that wretched girl. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole. Are you kidding me?
Good gracious, this is quite extraordinary. You claim, sir, under oath that you clearly...
No.
Order, order, order.
Not my intention to testify in this way, but neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. The truth? Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yes, well, sorry about that. He shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. You say the blood spattered all over the accused's coat. Are you sure on that point? Oh yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat the pickpocket girl was wearing at the time.
Really? If our coat should somehow seem shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here.
No. Oh, I see where this is going. No, 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 no. I am your mother. I'm your mother. I gave birth to you. Anyway. They're gonna frame her because it's got thrice-fired Mason's blood on that coat. Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. So here's to true science, not some amateurish detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry. There's nothing dubious about Hurley's work. His ideas are all sound. Ideas are no use to us here. In science, as in law, theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has used a small quantity of the chemical reagent used. With your lordship's permission, luminol? Doesn't look good, Bruno. Why not? Well, we know, don't we, that there's blood all over the front of Jenny's coat. If they tested with it... Oh, help, you're right. Yeah, Oh, that's not Mr. Winterberg's blood. It stands from 2 months ago. Mr. Mason's blood, yep. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution.
Overruled. Lord Van Zeeks, make it so at once.
With pleasure, my lord. While we await the result, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Uh-oh.
Counsel.
Yes, my lord.
Your cross-examination.
Uh-oh. I know, but like, how do I counter that?
Hold it!
He went back and emerged from the storeroom, I believe. Ringo and Nash was scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've never been so scared in all my life. Yeah, we're just your regular mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like violence. Says the pair who carry a gun. What do you mean by when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. A music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place, then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1. So I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong. I was trying to help me little bruv, but the old geezer chucked me in over the blooming counter. I pulled me gun on the old fella, and that soon made him scupper. Barely sitting upon the poor defense's pawnbroker together. Shame on you. Shame on you. Sorry, Gav.
Hold it!
Okay. You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the 3 men were brawling. It was exactly at that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. And the bullet went on to strike the calendar in the wall behind you. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Things I couldn't explain what happened to a doctor. I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Winterbang intend to shoot you, do you think? Well, no. I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, didn't quite strike home. When I pulled my gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way. And he scarpered fruit out that door back. Yeah. But not reporting a gunshot to Hydra is nothing new to the Ace Attorney franchise. Literally in game 1, they go through this whole song and dance.
At which point, what did you do?
Hold it!
You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom door is a solid job, made of stout wood.
There's a small opening about head height. It'll let you see what's in there from the outside.
Fair enough. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself then. And what about you burgling brothers? Did you see what went on through this peephole as well?
Not likely, Gov. Not likely, Gov. Didn't see nothing of the sort, guy, Gov.
I doubt these two buffoons were even aware of the people's existence. The Skulkin brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Windibank take place. Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there. The vendor? Yes, no, though neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed straight at the man. And then, what did you see next?
Hold it!
Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Windibank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. As we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. Ah, but no. It wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Windibank's gun grazed my arm. And yes, the Skulkin's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely. A third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time. No, I disagree. But no other gun was found at the scene. Because I took it, you asshole. Calm yourself, counsel. You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. It was at that moment, the little gutter rat shot him in the back. Chilling image, I must say. Ah. I saw the blood spatter all over that wretched girl.
Hold it!
All over her? Yes, through the people, I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now, but with the coat being such a dark color. But I assure you, the garment is sullied with the victim's blood. Well, it is sullied with blood, that's for sure. But it's not Mr. Windibank's blood, is it? No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason Milverton's blood from when McGill stabbed him 2 months ago. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. If they'd only accept Halley's chemical analysis, we could prove that. They won't, so unfortunately we can't use it as evidence for our case. Bother. And she tossed the gun out to the people, so I picked it up and made my escape.
Hold it!
I have no idea, Paper Star. Did I hear that you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room. That's right. That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to see where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole on the floor on my side of the door. Why on earth would she do such a thing? I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon, without thinking I went and picked it up. Because I was worried about just leaving it there, in case any more tragedies took place. So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. We'll produce it, bitch. Yes, it was yours truly. I left the clear up to my lackeys and left. Clear up? We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistle and Flute here told us to tidy up. He thinks he's a ruined mum sometimes. Well, I was paying you enough, by God. Ugh. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance that the second disc in your jacket pocket?
You little toe rag! Excuse me!
Gentlemen. You little toe rag. Huh. Something wrong, Sunshine? That should be mild. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin. Blimey, this D's a bit of an hooligan, ain't he? What was going on just now? You saw him, he grabbed me whistle. Daisies, he said, didn't you mention the third gun when we got down to the station? And why didn't you? Because we didn't know nothing about it. Or that flaming peephole in the door. Sorry about that. Can be prone to losing my ride sometimes. Not hurt, are you? Or blimey. Or blimey, see the way he's looking at me? I'm telling you this, he gives me the willies. was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He would normally grab something. No, that wasn't like Gregsy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him. Yes, well, I think he might be a special case, Iris. Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character. My lord. Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Blame yourself, officer. I have the results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord. Ah, blood on the accused overcoat.
Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. Give me a no. No, my lord.
Not good. Well, there you have it. Report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear they were the result of a spattering flooring of one gunshot wound. End of report.
Goodness me.
See? What did I tell you? No, that blood on that coat is not Mr. Winterbank's.
What on earth makes you say that, Counsel?
The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited at Winterbank's, Mr. McGilded had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. The blood on that overcoat is the blood from the brick maker from that omnibus case.
Objection!
Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, Whiny Pony's friend? Well, they could if this was in the 2016. Sorry? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. How did they know it was a gunshot? 2 months ago in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for Mr. Gilded's innocence? And yet, now that the man is dead, you brand him a murderer. Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. But that was... I call it a bally disgrace. Treachery, that's what it is. How to determine whether the blood on that coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help the answer to that problem pop out. Can't be done. But we use this...
Mr. Schultz is a detective, not a chemist.
With such faith in the chemical formulas advised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer. I held up Piroshki to starving boy and he ran away crying. Herlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom, no weight at all. How could you say that? Victory is sweet indeed. This proves my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish.
How do you arrive at such a conclusion, sir?
As the witness said, the accused clothes was spattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could have possibly known that is if he saw it. In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. No, it's not. My lord.
Been a long battle, this one, but this old warhorse has something to say now.
It's going to be another summation examination, huh? Yep. Ready, men? All's well now.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
It would appear that you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have reached a unanimous verdict.
I know. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to any attempt you may make at unpicking the jurors' decisions being equally successful. Summation examination number 3. How's it going, Rob? Unfair. Is this Susato? Be held in such low service. Oh, is this Sholmes? Who said that? Oh, it's a... Oh no. No way.
Don't you agree, Mr. Naruto?
Officer, you've delivered the report now. That'll be all, thank you. It occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Naruto, some... But by another than the human mind. I know that voice. Am I going mad? No way. Mr. Sholmes, what? No way, dude. Crazy. How? I'm impressed, actually. I'm extremely impressed.
What is the meaning of this?
I love him so much, yes.
Order, order, order!
What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard, you were recuperating in the hospital. Is what I would be, had I not been set upon. Had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Ali, it's really you. You're awake at last. Yes, good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me.
In what manner, sir?
I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us the time?
What say you to this, Lord Van Zeeks?
This trial has taken many hours of the court's time. Haven't spent so long already. Exactly, haven't spent so... No, he's gonna say, what's 5 more minutes? As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Get wrecked, Gregson.
Very well then, counsel. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Sholmes, are you alright now? Alright, I'm all wrong. Sorry. I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked just 5 minutes. But I fear even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive me should I pass up. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Let's make this discussion as short as possible. Ali, this place is full of idiots. Nothing can see how wonderfully chemical blood analysis is. Oh well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of sport to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community. No oversight on my part. Right, modesty? Surely not. But enough of that. I'm here to give you this, my dear fellow. What's that? A lavender photoshiki wrapping? A leaving present. From Susato. From Miss Susato. Susato. If possible, matters to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor. I don't understand. I knew Sholmes was going to break in here with some last-minute nonsense. Miss Susato full source today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhand, and that you, Mr. Naruto, fighting fairly as you all want to do, would find yourself in considerable peril. At that very moment of crisis, you would be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions. A leaving present from Susato-san. Whatever could it be? The cat doorinator. What? Oh, it's the machine I made. Ah. Meow. Look, I use this. It's my latest invention. What is that? I call it the cat flapper-mat. It can make a cat flap for a furry little friend like Waggy in seconds. Oh, hi. What's Susie up to? Miss Susato. Miss Susato muttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant. What? Didn't she say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. No, you haven't. Whatever did she mean by that, Mr. Sholmes? That night, when you left Windbanks in pursuit of the thieves, Miss Susato made some use of this contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, dear fellow. Oh my god. The peephole wasn't there, was it? This Susato-san used this cat flapper mat that night? But why? No way. That's 4. Your 5 minutes is over. We're out of time already? Yep, back to it. I'm grateful to you for affording us that brief recess, Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. After all, die is cast. Is it really? The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. I wonder... Mr. Naruhodo. Yes! The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me. You need to be careful here. Make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. Well, this is not the answer. What if it's further cross-examination? Further cross-examination.
Objection!
The jurors have spoken.
Objection!
Oh, this case they may not. Well, the defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness, but rather to continue with one of an existing witness. What? It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper. My lord, requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Thank you, officer. Very well, the cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel. No, my lord. Oh my god. It's still going on, like the summation examination. Then nobody can say anything then. If Bruno asks to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon, the court is obliged to allow it. This is absurd. Sorry. This is absurd. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request a continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination. Counsel, you must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony, but one piece of evidence to present in support of the argument against it. Single chance to present evidence. If following that, the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further. My lord. Yes, my lord. A single statement, a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's high time I fell into that faint. I leave this in your capable hands. Not much of a feint there. Mr. Sholmes! Oh my god, the poor dude. Get him in bed. Gonna show him lying on the ground there? No? Damn. Flew back pretty far then, he was outside of the camera's reach. Stand so insouciantly. With the court in a state of... I know, right? He threw himself back. Either the man has extraordinary strength of mind, or an extraordinary lack of feeling. I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Recommend when he's down, won't you? Why don't you? Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared? Yes, one statement. Okay. This is going to decide the entire outcome of this trial. Very well done. Under the... What is this, like a presto or something? Phew. Those vicious teeth look like they could rip through almost anything. They're good, aren't they? They're made of special alloy I developed just for this job. The cutter rotates 10 times per second so it can get any kind of door in no time at all. There are 2 pockets of the top here. Oh, those are for attaching hinges to the section of the door that gets cut out. Oh, you're right. That guy's so adorable. There's nothing I wouldn't do for him, even developing deadly weapons. Okay. The peephole's exactly the same size.
Objection!
What on earth is that eccentric contraption, Council? Oh, it's my cat flapper-mat, my lord. It makes a way for cats to get in and out of a room. It can cut through any door you think of and make a new little door in the middle of it. That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Small doors for... I'm sure we can all work that out for ourselves. Yeah, I noticed that it was only giving me one badge for penalty. It only gave me one health taken off if I were to get it wrong. I noticed that. But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to this case. Oh, really? Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door.
Keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I say, see what this has to do with the matter at hand.
Perhaps it would help if I described its function either way, then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine in practically no time at all.
I beg your pardon, a peephole, you say?
2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Mr. Windibank had taken place.
That's right. According to the paperwork at the yard, it was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes.
Yes, the three of us were together, and it's recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time.
Assistant did what?
There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said it as much as my testimony. How else could I have witnessed the crime, for pity's sake? Yes, how could you? What?
So kindly say what you mean.
Alright, it's time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door, and until such time as she did, the door had no hole in it to look through. What? No!
Objection!
How can we prove that happened? This is a farce! Are you really suggesting that the peephole in the door was... Yes, it was created only after the incident had taken place, by my judicial assistant using this device.
Your assistant tampered with the crime scene whilst being fully aware of the gravity of her actions. That's a most serious act of vandalism.
Yes, but she's... For which I humbly apologize, my lord. She knew she was going back home, so she did this. Oh my god. It was in the few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Susato, you beautiful soul. Oh my god. Nevertheless, in the light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes.
Riddle with, explain yourself, counsel.
The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon what he witnessed through the peephole in the storeroom door. Yes, that filthy girl shooting the man in the back. However, if at the time of the incident, that peephole did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you've claimed to have seen. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies, bitch.
Is there any credence in this?
Objection!
We took a bunch of pictures of nothing. None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly. This cheap trick's just to discredit me. I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not, sir. Of course it is. Do you seriously expect to believe that that plaything can cut through a solid wooden door? Oh yes, I designed it to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest of doors.
That's absurd. I don't believe it for a second.
I have a feeling you say that. What? Waggy, cooey, time for dinner. Oh my god, when? Oh, Waggy! Meow. Waggy saves the day.
Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cat flaps in the oak paneling at the Old Bailey.
I'm not done yet, don't worry. This doesn't mean that the peephole in the storeroom door at Winterbanks was made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that it was. No, but it's easy. The cat flaps my cat flappermat creates are all of a fixed size. And the dimensions of that peephole at Winterbanks are an exact match. Oh. Old Silky's lost for words. Excellent work, Iris. Thank you. And now it's my learned student friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home. Well, yes, that's true. And you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let us assume the peephole has dimensions that are perfect fit for this contraption. In that case, when was the peephole cut? The prosecution demands proof of your answer.
What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Zieks?
It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device. And now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the fact. There is no proof.
Ugh.
There is proof, though. It's called the red-handed recorder. My learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation. What? Oh god, you've been shot like 7 times this trial.
Indeed, that is so, Lord Van Zieks. Well, counsel.
Don't give up now, Bruno. It is time to create your own opening and force your way through. Do this, but I do know one thing. Susato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world.
Yes. Iris is pretty damn close, though. Very well, the counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the peephole in the door of Winterbank's storeroom was created after the image.
It's not there.
Take that!
What are you?
Print from the detective's infernal cameras again. My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikotoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered the scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof. And the necessary proof is this photographic print, counsel. This print shows a scene in the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises.
Agreed.
And it also shows the accused most mercilessly wielded the gun in the direction of the defense's broker. But more to the point. It pictures the storeroom door in the background.
Let me see that print again. I don't believe it. This really is quite remarkable. The door of the storeroom is completely devoid of a peephole of any description.
Mr. Graydon, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crimes you claim to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no peephole in the door.
Ugh.
In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies. Well, that was a pretty... I don't think that's the last testimony, honestly. That breakdown was a little underwhelming, in my opinion.
Order, order, order.
I'm satisfied that the defense has substantiated its claim beyond all
Reasonable doubt. This witness testimony was entirely fallacious.
That's not the only thing we now know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant skill can no longer be denied. The woman tampered with a crime scene. And more importantly,
Good lord, there's more of that, Lord Van Zieks?
the defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But there is no proof. That is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. If there was no peephole, he couldn't have done it now. So this is not... Yes, that's right. What? I was there at the scene, it's true. And I was shot in the arm, it's true. But that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I'm the victim here. No, let's not... Oh, please. I don't believe this, but they're right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he is the culprit. Still, he can't worm his way out of it now. Iris, you know what they say. There's no point in locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted. Isn't that right, Bruno? As Harley always says. One lie begets another. No, wait, that might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories. Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your I love this song, by the way. What you said in your testimony reveals that you now know something, you shouldn't have known. In other words, there's a fundamental inconsistency in your statement. What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency. Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witnesses' statements. They showed that Mr. Gray had something he should have known anything about, namely... Oh wait, he came back. Why would he have known about the people? The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie that you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Then let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously Has the cat got your tongue, witness? Get him. The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred, and after I returned to the shop having failed to catch the 2 burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windibanks constantly, carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Well, yes, of course. The place is chock full of pawned articles that my lads have thoroughly examined them all. I gave the order to have the officers work in round the clock in shifts so we get through it all. And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the peephole in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
Yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place to the people in the door.
How on earth is that possible?
Could I have a word, please, Lord Van Zieks? Speak, Inspector. Just that I really ought to be getting back to the station, not to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add. The testimony, so it's all the same to you. Permission denied. Get him, Van Zieks.
It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all.
You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes. Of course, sir. Mr. Graydon, you shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by someone else.
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realized, I trust, that the words you have just uttered have extremely serious implications. Yes. But the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's only really one person it could be. It's not Gregson, right? Gregson's the only person it could be. That's why he was trying to leave, I guess.
Take that!
The truth is, it could only have been you, Inspector Gregson. Eh? Me? You had better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of the trial today.
Indeed, preparations for his testimony were made with a great urgency during our hour-long recess.
while the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communication station. Until that time, Mr. Graydon would have had no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court.
Are you suggesting that until such time as he was summoned?
Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the people. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position, that he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder.
You are suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information,
so that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin. Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation they had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson.
This is a bloomin' outrage.
Why would I be giving away the details of our investigation to this fella, eh? I was sent to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case. Had you forgotten that?
Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery.
Which means... First time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions could have possibly have occurred. Ah. Oh, I just remembered something, Bruno. What is it, Iris? There was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Ginny was testifying. Oh yes, now that you mention it. And the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGilda's music box on the scene of the crime. That's it. It was during that testimony. I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion in the middle of the courtroom on the stand. It would have been possible for you to have given Mr. Graydon the information he needed then.
You little Torag, you're making all this up.
I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke? Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain, but perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind. Bring in the Lord Chief Justice.
What deal, counsel?
I wonder if perhaps, in exchange for details about the people of the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector.
I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that, if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance.
Or malfeasance.
Objection!
It's becoming clear that jumping in with accusations is Nipponi's student's specialty. I don't do that. Stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in support of his diabolical claim. Evidence? Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal. Logically, there's only one. The music disc?
Take that!
Inspector Gregson. Besides this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case? What are you getting at now, Sunshine? Is it possible that this other top-secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here? Classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. How the bleeding Nora could you... We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited at Windybanks by Magnus McGilden. A special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. It seemed very likely now that encoded on a pair of discs that were in Mr. McGilden's possession are leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the discs containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Grayson in which you exchanged the disc details of the disc for details of the case.
You little... Oh. Order! Order! Order!
On the day of the incident, we met with you at Windybanks. You said this. Music is... The soundtrack in this game is so freaking good, you guys. I'll be taking that whatever it is of McGilden's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over. No, don't give it to him. It's mine that it is. Mine.
Sorry, miss.
Anything belonging to McGilded has been taken as evidence now. Scotland already knew at that time, isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets. My orders were: recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT. Strictly hush-hush. And that explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information. Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't that sure of it myself. I realized there was a possibility, that's all.
Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness?
To aid and abet this man in giving false testimony? There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known the existence of the peephole. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these two men. This is incredible.
Objection!
If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc is, as we speak, here in this very courtroom. Wait, what? In this room? I can't. This is like insanity. How could you possibly make a claim like that? Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective. What? What's that supposed to mean, eh? As a seasoned policeman, this inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly he would have not accepted a gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted upon having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand.
Gracious, then you mean to say Inspector Gregson has already has the article in question in his possession? He has the second disc actually on his person?
Yes!
The defense demands that the inspector is searched at once. Definitely. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Ginny was testifying before, and Gregsy hasn't moved from the witness stand once. My lord, please, order an examination of his personal effects immediately.
Inspector.
This young lad wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me in the profession quite enough. However, it'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts about my involvement. Then I'll happily submit to a body search. What? He's going to agree to it? I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you now teeter, my learned student friend. You've made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If, following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you will be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand that you are severely reprimanded. That sounds serious. Oh my god. Water.
Indeed. If a visiting student makes such defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force, it's not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook.
You're just threatening Bruno because you're scared.
The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences.
It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here. Ryu, something's been off on this trial for so long. And you've said it.
Yes, my lord.
It was more than perjury. He tampered with the damn crime scene.
Well, don't say you weren't warned, but the typical Nipponese stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good. Fair enough, I've got nothing to hide. Very well then. Bailiff.
Objection!
The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson.
Now what's all this?
I'm the one you're accusing, ain't I? I thought you wanted to search me. No, no, Inspector, not you. Somebody else. What's the meaning of all this, eh? Lost it at last, have you, Sunshine? The court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational. Be quiet, all of you. Who is that? Oh. Be quiet, all of you. Runa's doing what you all told him to do and having the courage of his convictions. But you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith, because that's the British way.
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense counsel's conviction and eagerly awaits its next words.
You what? Now don't be hasty, my lord. I'm mistaken by the things I've seen in court today. I'm fairly sure I know who has the disc of normal. Is it you?
Take that!
Mr. Ashley graded, my lord. The defense that demands that he be searched at once.
Very well. I presume you'll not protest, Mr. Graydon.
Au contraire. Do you know what that means? Oh, wow. No way. Wait a minute. Didn't even occur to me. Gina was on the stand the whole time too. Could be her.
Take that!
My lord. Oh, it's not her.
Objection!
Alright.
Guilty.
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 Well, you know, I gotta screw up on something, so I've screwed up on a lot. But honestly, this will give me a run for my money. I can't even be mad. Like, this is part of the organic experience, and I'm so glad that I have this immortalized. Oh my god.
Take that!
You know, I didn't actually mean to hit that. Fuck. You caught this immediately. Well, that makes me feel funny. Ooh. I don't think it's one of these two. But you know what? God, what the fuck? Who could it be? Let me try these two. I don't know.
Take that!
Oh, it is him. Mr. Nash Skulkin. Oh god. Hey, him.
Hold it!
Please, my lord. Scotland Yard,
Objection!
Why? Fortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. Eh? In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object. But Lord Van Zeeks, I have no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. Personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial. Fucking Waluigi? Now hold on. I don't know nothing about no disc. Cut it out. Here, my lord, in the witness pocket. Found this. Good lord, that's another music box disc. I don't know nothing about it. Nothing. That is the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilded. Is it not, Inspector Gregson? Ugh.
Order, order, Mr. Skulkin. What do you have to say for yourself?
Gordon Bennett. I mean, this Gordon Flamin' Bennett. Gordon Flamin' Bennett. I swear I didn't know nothing about that disc. Honest to God.
So would you please explain what exactly is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck between this witness and this detective, no?
Without question, my lord.
And for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc that the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure, but at one particular point in his trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior when he shook him. Oh my god! I forgot all about that! Ah! It was, yes, during my cross-examination, Mr. Graydon. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbroker that night, was it by any chance for the second disc in your jacket pocket? I admit to nothing of the sort. While Mr. Graydon answered my questions, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Shulkin by the coat and was shaking him violently. Yeah, he didn't know. Thought my noggin was gonna fall clean. Yeah, he didn't know. Thought my noggin was gonna fall clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born as my brother, I was. What exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that? I ain't got a clue. He just started turning and grabbed me and whistling and just shaking me. And why the blazes didn't you mention the third gun when he got back? That's what he said. Yelled it right on my ear, he did. My head's still throbbing now. The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character. But looking back now, it must have been then that he did it. That was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc.
Bless my wig, he hid it. You... I'm afraid I failed to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? This is a court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence.
It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty to do that.
Why ever not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some
Special conditions.
My orders were, recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT, strictly hush-hush.
Hush-hush, a top-secret assignment, is it?
As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if that information were to be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector? I'm operating under direct orders from the ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to answer the question. So, realizing there was a chance you may searched here in court, you took the steps to hide the disc you had acquired from the witness.
Ah, does this mean?
You only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him. Slip the second disc into his pocket. This is incredible.
So it was all a pretense.
Well now, Inspector Grayson, and you, Mr. Graydon. E.g., are you prepared to admit the accusation made against you of this alleged deal? Admit to it, yours truly, please. Mr. Graydon. Clearly, our Eastern visit has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed this to the inspector.
Objection!
But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the people? I'm under no obligation to explain. What? 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 Yes, I lied my testimony. That I admit. So sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with a detective. All of it is this young Eastern man's fancy. I have no idea what any of that's about. You... what, mate? Well, what about you then, Inspector Gregson? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Graydon in order to acquire the disc? Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I am acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done, it's been in the name of justice. So as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making your decisions.
This is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness, including of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it's time we put the matter to the jury for their final leanings. Well now, the fellow servant of the Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector.
Yes, he's a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character. Even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurred to me.
As a fellow professional, I'd like to put my faith in the detective, really.
Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop.
Detective has very much thrust in his eyes, more than this I cannot say.
I don't believe it. The sisters are they're gonna believe Gregson if they declare the decision now. Are you kidding me? Is Ginny gonna be found guilty? If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're gonna lose. Either some proof that Mr. Graydon killed Mr. Windibank or stole those government secrets, or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting he struck a deal with the witness.
Well then, counsel.
Let's not leave it to the jury. I think it's... look at my evidence. Not a Gregson fan? Fair. I mean, I still kind of like him. I think he's fun. But we'll see what happens after I finish. I don't fucking know, you guys. Oh my god. Oh, we have the second disc. I could tell him to admit to the deal if we Inspector Gregson, there's one final piece of evidence I'd like you to see. What's that, then? It's either this or this, I think, but like...
Take that!
Is that...
Mr. McGilda's peculiar music box, Council.
Yes, with the disc already in place, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time, with the second disc we've just discovered set in place as well. Goodness,
This disc, Council.
no, wait, I can't let you do that. Why not?
Because,
Well, this has got nothing to do with the case, that's why.
Objection!
Not true, Inspector.
eh?
The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court from earlier from this music box were part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believe the second disc contains a second tone needed to complete the message. Now we have a chance to confirm that theory.
For crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here.
I know, it's been so long.
You go in the whole courtroom hear confidential information like that. It's treason.
Then do it into the charge? That in order to protect these state secrets, you engage in unlawful dealings with the witnesses?
You're mad. If you let that secret information down out into the public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot.
Objection!
Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness, that you continue to lie to the court, and all because by fair means or foul you're determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine.
Don't you dare.
I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. He's just enjoying the show. My lord, if you please, the court must hear the sounds made by that music box.
Come on, Van Zieks, for Pete's sake, stop it.
Objection!
Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard pup. This is okay. My favorite thing about Van Zieks, honestly, besides the way he looks, is the fact that he does not give a fuck. Like, that there is several times in the trial where, like, just tells Gregson to his face, like, you're not in charge here, I am, and I love that. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet. In this courtroom, my duty is to the law. So let me propose a toast. To uncovering the truth, by fair means or foul.
No! Very well, the defense's stance here and that of the prosecution has been very clear, I feel. Therefore, according with the defense's request, the court will now listen as this music box is set in operation once more.
This time I was going to be a little serious about it.
Second disc in place, and those displaying simultaneously.
Oh, listen to that. It's unmistakable now. It's Morse code.
Alright, I admit it. Whatever you want, for the love of God, shut that blooming box up.
Yeah, that actually did kind of slap a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you, or did you not, strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Graydon?
Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the peephole in that pawnbroker's storeroom door, Inspector?
I did.
Stop! What are you doing, man?
It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess, and we stood here and stand together. That's when he approached me with the deal.
Shut up, you imbecile! Shut up! You there. You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbrokery the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for with me at this very moment. I suggest you accept more information that may soon become very indeed.
Couldn't let that information become public knowledge, not under any circumstances. So I accepted the man's proposal. I'm told him the details about this case that should have put him in the clear. The peephole in the storeroom door, and the bloodstains on the overcoat. By giving false testimony, this witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury. I did. But then it turned out the people had only been made that night after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest. Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime. Namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbroker on the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Windabank. You. Now this is a breakdown. Traitor! Now that's a breakdown. Bailiff, restrain that man at once. That's it then. It's all over. I despise my life growing. Slums of vile places. I was cursed from birth, born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me. So I set about studying to better myself, to one day escape from that hellhole.
And you eventually became a communications officer. I admire your determination.
Then you decided to try to sell government secrets? Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me in the small hours. I wanted to drown them out with more money than anyone who lived in that squalor could ever imagine. Then one day I met him. Mr. Magnus McGilded. You're a fiend with a queer talent, so you are. I have money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need to do is go along with your little plan now. I was to steal the ministry's telegraphic message logs, and McGilded would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections of the ministry's communications office, it was a simple enough task. The lure of the devil's offerings, how easy it is to succumb.
But you surely must have realized the seriousness of the crime you were committing.
And for that reason, I took great lengths to ensure that my actions were untraceable. By using the music box. My father was a brickmaker, though my mother divorced him when I was still a child. Yes, Mr. Mason Milverton. That's right, he was very skilled with his hands. He once been a music box maker's apprentice. I imagined his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. I sought out my father again, to employ his services. It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slums 10 years earlier. Look at you, Ashley. What a fine gent you've become, eh? It's a different man to the one in my memory, a thin, frail old man. Poverty had never broken him, never corrupted him like it did me. I was sure that he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason, so I made up a story. Got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made.
Music box discs, eh? Musician friend
of mine has written some music he wants to sell to the public. I brought the score with me there too, actually.
I'd be delighted, son. Been 20 years since I did any work like this, though. Fetch my tools, would you? They're in the loft.
Oh my god. So I had him made the 2 discs. Thereby splitting the information into two. You were taking considerable precautions indeed. It was to protect myself as much as anything. It meant I could deal with Miss Gilded in 2 separate transactions. The first involved the first of the 2 discs and the music box for playing. I exchanged them with McGilded for 10 guineas, and on receipt of the second discs, he would pay 1,000 guineas. So, what happened on the omnibus 2 days ago? 2 months ago, was the second part of a deal? The exchange of the second disc? Yes, I'd sold the man information that way a number of times already, but it seemed he became reluctant to part with his money. That doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Graydon. But why was it on that omnibus 2 months ago? Your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with Mr. McGilded, not yourself. I received 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGilded. I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. But my father realized something was amiss. In time, He worked out that I must be involved in something dubious, and when he did, he said to me, "Next time there's an exchange, you let your old man do it, you understand? Otherwise, I won't take your money anymore." What a good father. That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from McGilded. That's it. I had no idea what was actually on the discs I'd asked him to make. He'd never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home. Yeah, this is great and all, but what about the killing of Mr. Windibank? Really then, I found out what sort of a monster McGilded really was. After 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore my father's name. To exact revenge. Revenge? Did you burn the omnibus? As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of this man will no doubt be able to imagine, McGilded brought all his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. To crush any semblance of justice in this trial. The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and witnesses were bribed. That trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish. My feet had barely touched British soil back then. I walked into that hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background of it all. I'd made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGilded. I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in the city willing to do anything you ask. McGilded himself had shown me that. Are you saying that? I think you have a picture now. I've twisted everything to ensure in this favor to children who walk free. I took matters in my own hands and delivered the justice that monster deserved. It does make the killers way more interesting. That tragic incident following the trial here 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly. McGilded's death that day was caused by this man. Everything is ready, sir.
Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the water. Oh.
What's this ultra? It's sooner than I was led to believe. Well, I must be thinking now. It's that policeman who came to tell McGilded that he could examine the omnibus again. That's right, an imposter. Hired by me. McGilded used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all manner of false evidence. He threatened witnesses to lie in their testimony. So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, one of my sham policemen ushered McGilded inside and sent him on a one-way journey to hell. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death.
Spine-chilling account indeed.
That wasn't the end of it for me. There was a loose end, you see. A loose end. Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGilded.
Ah, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in a man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because it had been removed from the scene of the crime.
When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with it. This is the first of the 2 discs, and the music box you need to play them. Well, look at that now. What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for you, young man. What's this? Windibank's pawnbroker. Aye, it's a pawnbroker's ticket. So it is. You can use it to redeem an article I've deposited there for you. There's no need to give it a name. Give a name, just hand over the ticket and tell the fiend to watch for it. I'll put a jewel in the pawn for you. It'll fetch a good 10 guineas if you sell it, so it will. I've never heard of a pawnbroker being used in quite that way before. Have you not, Mr. Graydon? London's pawnbrokers are very useful places, you know. Each one is like an extremely secure vault. So I knew that he'd taken steps to hide the disc. It'd be in that pawnbroker somewhere. And on the night he killed my father, he must have entrusted the ticket to someone. Yes, to Gina. I remember now, when we first met you at Winterbanks that afternoon 2 days ago, you had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How did you know who you were looking for? From the trial, the pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately that she was another McGilda's pawns. Must have threatened us somehow. I was fairly convinced it would be her who had the ticket. So I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline. He was absolutely right. Good night, Blue. Yeah, it's getting late. And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until the girl went to Winterbanks to redeem the articles. But unfortunately, she redeemed only McGilda's overcoat and the one disc that was in its pocket. The all-important music box with the second disc inside was missing, because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier. I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion. Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, we picked up on the fact that McGilda was involved. Inspector, you've recovered fast. My orders were to recover the stolen information as quickly as possible, so we started gathering the fellow's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yard, but we had to keep it as quiet as we could. Then, when the inspector took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I became nervous. I was sure the music box and the second disc were still there in the shop somewhere, but as I knew it was a race against time, I had to find those articles before the police did. That's what prompted you to break into the place that same night, with the help of your old friends, the Skulking Brothers. What happened that night in the pawnbrokery, I can only describe as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I'd located the music box I'd sold to McGilda on the shelves of forfeited articles. The second disc was inside? Yes, I slipped into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. Then, something entirely unexpected happened. What are you doing in my shop? A gunshot rang out in the shop and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm. The broker fired his gun and the bullet pierced your limb. Yes, exactly. But unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night. Just in case. I knew what had happened. Was happening, I fired back. The man had already turned to flee, and intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. Unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as he fled through the storeroom door for refuge. Sorry tale. It took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realize what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Winterbanks on that wretched night. Crazy stuff, honestly. Earlier, you called McGilda a monster. A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder. What tragic irony. What you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGilda. Yes, I think I have. Waiter, just rub it in. Banzeeks.
This has been a long and exhausting trial.
However, it would seem that at last we have arrived at the truth.
Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley Graydon?
He's been restrained, my lord, and is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Winterbank, stealing of government secrets.
Very good. You, Inspector, regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself.
Yes, my lord, of course. It transpires that you were complicit in helping a criminal escape justice. That fact remains, whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable.
Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Ah, yeah?
It's time for final adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, sir. Garradeb Squadron standing by, sir. This is really it now. Last push, the final call. Finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdicts.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman.
Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
You will now declare your final decisions to the court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
From the brink of despair. Haha, that's the stop. I'm off the hook. Finally, Bruno, you managed to do it. Finally is the word. I wasn't sure if we'd come out on top for a while there. Susie was right. You're the best lawyer in the world. Mr. Lestrade, I'm not finished with you yet. Eh? Oh, what are you looking at me like that for? Before you start enjoying the freedom, there's certain other crimes to consider. Eh?
2 months ago, in my courtroom no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? And in relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Winterbank's pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGilda's property, it seems.
Eh? I never done nothing of the sort. Of course not. Not like you were gleefully wearing Mr. McGilda's coat in your cell yesterday or anything. Oh, and just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Ginny this evening.
Turning our attention to the defense. Determining that, when played together, the music box discs contain a message in Morse code was, well, certainly a most unexpected revelation, Counsel.
Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage today. I propose a toast. To demanding that the government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom. Oh my god. Ah! Very sorry about that. It was the only way I could get Inspector Gregson to admit what he'd done, so... If I may say something on that point, isn't that... It's, about the sounds produced by the music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all. What are you saying, madam? Well, it's just I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. So much so that the whole word seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact.
Goodness, madam, an unhealthy level of obsession one feels. But I must say, in my opinion, the sounds produced by those two discs were nothing more than that, a meaningless series of two different tones.
What? Can that really be? It wasn't Morse code after all? Oh, back to the slap. My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again. Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to say it? Tell you, those discs contain mystical secrets, sunshine. This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government communications. We know Mr. Gilded conspired to trade national secrets with our enemies. Secrets acquired from Mr. Graydon. Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further. But it's really gonna bother me. Miss Lestrade. Yeah, my lord. That which you have seen today in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing. Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury. Yes, I am. Just finishing up, Polter. How you doing?
A grim catalogue of depravity.
Petroid and Rhyme, how was that? You streamed it today, right?
Appalling experience to befall any child.
Come on, it ain't nothing I didn't see most days back in the slums.
I beg your pardon.
If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes. Gina. Well, look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want it to change, you gotta start at home. You gotta change how you are yourself. Oh, hell yeah, Bolter. That's one hell of a quick playthrough.
Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I eagerly look forward to the born-again Miss Lestrade never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Winterbank, proprietor of a pawnbrokery business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant Miss Gina Lestrade not guilty.
eat fireworks, bitch. Not you. Oh, that's so cute. Look at her. Oh my god, I love Gina so much. I would adopt her. Just give her a good, happy home life. You know, that's all the girl deserves.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
Hello, my husband. Is this where our relationship begins? I never get to see it. Actually, no, that's a lie. On a personal note, I must say you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend. Ah, oh. Despite being a Nipponese, you saw through the pretense of the malice that festered within that Englishman. And at the same time, you saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures. I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. We're not so very different on the inside. You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom. Ooh, he wanna lock swords with me in the bedroom too, y'all! You did? When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed. Through you, I'd hoped to look into the eyes of the man I once knew, and tried to understand. You mentioned something similar earlier today, a total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly? Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not. Alright, then I'll wait for that day if I must. Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey, and my retirement from service 5 years ago gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. What is that, 5? So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow. Until we meet again. God, I love him. I want to learn more about him, and I assume that's going to be Great Ace Attorney 2. So... fuck. What am I to do? It's done. It's over at last. And I still think Lord Strongheart is the big bad of the second game. I am not ever going to let this one go. He is guilty of something. But where's Iris disappeared to? Ah, congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent. Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruto. You believed in me, right up until the end. You would have thought it was your name. What's that about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I? No one ever has before, you see. Kept the promise, I mean, properly. That's awful. Figure something out today. All my life growing up in the slums, I've never trusted no one. That's just because I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down. Yes, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it on trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. When your gut tells you it's the right thing to do, and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of that valuable lesson. Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a fat lot of sense to me though. Trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure. For crying out loud, pack it in! But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, alright. Thanks. This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke. A defense lawyer is only as good. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Asma, am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? On the interruption. Is it Sholmes? What deuce does a man have to do? Be noose around here, my dear fellow. Ah, that voice. It's too late, but that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Yes, it was me all along, I would have said when you finally noticed me. But you people with your incessant babbling. Ah, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, it was me all along, see? Oh my god, this guy. Seemed you'd been taken back to the hospital. Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again. Oh. I happened to be aware of one or two foibles of the doctor who was tending to me. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence. How very above board. But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts justly rewarded, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat to you. Oh, thank you. Some great detective you are. Could I be cold as ice, maybe? Have I irked you in some way, Mr. Strahd? Well, you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed. Some of us have been having the fight of our lives. Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps cold as ice, but, well, a few. Will you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Strahd? No, leave them there. And, in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Mr. Strahd. What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted? Well, it isn't. Naturally, this is my intention to alarm you, but... Bart, I don't mean to alarm you. An acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps precarious. Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest. Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Is anyone who's found not guilty in a trial he was working on winds up dead anyway? Is that it? The very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGilded, in fact. Ah, but of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself. Yeah, well, it don't bother me. Oh, really? Oh, really? Of course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's a bit like him upstairs. Him upstairs, you mean like... God? Yeah, him upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. He won't have got the wrong end of the stick. There are some coves like that bog trotter what are rotten to the core. At the end of the day, him upstairs make sure they get what they deserve. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another. Well, I ain't like the McGilded of this world, so I ain't scared. I got principles, see. Well said. A trait in you which is to be admired, Mr. Strahd. Oi, just get a rest, alright? As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina. Well, there you are, Hurley. How long have you been here? Honestly, I wanted the main entrance especially to meet you there. Oh, Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves. What happened? As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff. But these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. Ha ha ha, they had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it? I'm not sure, really. Beg your pardon? I'm sorry, Harley, but you don't seem to have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. Ooh, roasted. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's gonna land you in trouble one day. I'll be careful. Ouch. Anyway, it's such a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight, but you won't be able to come, will you? Don't look like I'm gonna be going nowhere for a while. Yeah, the does patter. Got stuff to make amends for. Apparently, all them offences. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking the bog trotters stuff, what was in log, blah blah blah. Yes, I think that you'll find basically being a pickpocket is the main offense. Not even an offense. It's a job, innit? I don't think so. Still, it's got me thinking all this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. I mean, you didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Otto? Well, no. But I was never a pickpocket. Well, anyway, I reckon I can make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them lot like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for them. That's a wonderful idea, Ginny, and I'm sure you can do it. What is it? What is it? Nothing. Miss Gina Lestrade. The prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once. Great, well, looks like I'm off then. Yes, goodbye, Gina, and good luck. Otto? Yes, yes? Ah! What was that for? Hey, I don't know, I mean, I don't know what to say, so... indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Mr. Starr. Eh? On occasions such as this. I would recommend a simple thank you. No, that's boring. You got whoop, Mr. Edgeworth. Whoop, Detective Gumshoe. Oh. Oh yes. It's good advice, Ginny. Right, I see. Well... thanks, Otto. Oh. Oh, look at her. Oh my god. Thank you for believing everything what you've done. For believing in me. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Not at all. In fact, I think that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. Oh my god. I love her. Well, there she goes. I wonder if I'll ever see her again. She will. Well, well, quite the indomitable pick purse. Oh, I nearly forgot I bought a paper outside. It's a special edition, and this trial is all over the front page. Pickpocket's innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful? Should have shown it to Gina Irish. She would have been thrilled. Oh no, how silly of me. I love Gina. Gina's best girl. Ah, but anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news? Not again. Well, what do you say, Bruno? Harley? As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Absolutely not. I have no intention of listening to anything but good news. And there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it? Let's not. Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. There was a record level of rainfall, apparently. Well, that is good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort. Alright then, what's the bad news? The huge storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more. Wait, Dover? That's right, if we head to the station immediately, we may still make it in time to wave Susie off. But there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky. Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Sholmes? I rushed to Victoria Station early and made arrangements for a special express. Hurley! If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner. I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole. You don't... The great detective does it again! Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of the rail transport director's foibles. But I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary. Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way. What are we waiting for then? To land in Victoria. Oh, this is so pretty. This is on a 3DS? What the hell? That took somewhat longer than I anticipated. Susie's bet must be allowed to leave now. Miss Susato, where are you? Over there, look. Looks like she's reading something.
Hold it!
Miss Susato, wait. What are you doing? No, yeah, there were scenes of Spirit of Justice that thought looked really nice, but something about this scene is way more aesthetically pleasing to me. I love how Spirit of Justice looks, do not get me wrong, but this is just really pretty. Like, I would make this my desktop background. That kind of pretty, you know what I mean? Mr. Naruhodo, what are you doing here? We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see. Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go? It went well. She was acquitted. That's wonderful. Really wonderful news. The book you were about to throw into the sea. It was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it? Oh dear. I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell. You're saying goodbye to law? You? Susato-san? Would I be correct in assuming it's because of the peephole, Miss Susato? I deliberately altered the scene of crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable. That reminds me. How did you even come to have this, Susie? On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Oh yes, we had a wonderful time. Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean. Oh, that was so much fun. I stole Runo's armband. Yes, please don't do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me. Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't notice for ages. On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cat flapper mat. So I put it up my sleeve. Really? And then I rather forgot about it until I found myself in Mr. Windibank's shop with it later. I see, and then... Oh, yep. After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think. That door started to play on my mind. The storeroom door, I mean? Yes, if Gina were anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind the door. And at that moment, the little device I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know. But you used the cat flapper to make the peephole in the door. As captured in a photographic print of the shop. By one of Harley's red-handed recorders. Indeed, it was of the first importance at that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information proved to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon, though naturally without proof it would have amounted to nothing. But when I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Blood started to run through my mind. I remembered that the trial 2 months earlier, the trial of Magnus McGilded, thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. Then, a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because of the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Miss Gina had shot Mr. Windibank. Even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing. You were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime. That's right, but then I realized. It would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case. What do you mean? Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. Someone who had claimed falsely to witness it, there would have had to be a way to see beyond the door. Ah! Which peephole would be the very thing. Only the peephole I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference. But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not? A trap? That's why she did it. So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone, not even to the police. I know. And I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong. A criminal offense, even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner, with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan. He does think of everything. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began? My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. You have Van Zieks on the brain. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade. Ah. You could have been disbarred if you had seemed to have knowingly tampered with a crime scene. So Miss Susato decided to shoulder the burden of the responsibility alone. For your sake, and Mr. Strahd's. This is so good. Susato. The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I lost a little of my faith in the law. Oh, what the hell? I lost a little of my faith in the law. Oh. I was worried about that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime, but at the moment I allowed myself to think that, is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant. What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon is the one who lied in the witness stand using the people as a way to implicate Jean. And besides, if the people inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure she would have been acquitted in the end. Susato, what you did saved Gina's life. Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you've saved me too from my regrets. Well, we must all be thankful that Mr. Strahd's freedom has been assured. Yes, exactly. Although some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play in my mind, for sure. But the revelation that the music box disc contains secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo. What a triumph to work that out. I'm full of admiration. Well, actually, the argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was. Oh, it wasn't? There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see, a telegraph operator. And she said the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones. As one would expect, after all, we were talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood, should they have been. Oh, is there someone taking cryptography right now? It's a little close to home, y'all. In cipher, I see, so we could have never have hoped to understand the message anyway. Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you. A. So. So. B. What? No. Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny. Wait, Iris, what did you just say? Oh, I just said Asagi. Does that word mean something to you? Mean something? Asagi was the name of my best friend. What? But how? How do you know that name, Iris? I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box. You transcribed on the fly? He really is a genius. I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. But whatever I tried, the words didn't seem to make any sense. That is, in English at least. Oh. Suddenly occurred to me, see, there's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to Morse code to use it in their own languages. I don't believe it. Are you saying... That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before, but I think it's based on the Iroha Pangram, isn't it? And you mean to say that in Japanese Morse code, the message says Asagi? Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all of the Japanese Morse code. Iris, would you let me see that? Miss Susato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code? Yes, I spent some time studying it. But I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communication. Yeah, about that. Might I recommend, dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version? Be that as it may. Iris, show me the message, please. Of course! What can this possibly mean? Whatever that long speech is supposedly meaningless sauce and dashes, it's made the color during Susato's face. There's no doubt this message is written in Japanese Morse code. British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications? I don't understand the reason why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names. 4 names. First, Kei Asagi. Well, Asagi, why? Why was his name on the disc? Second is A Shin. Shin, I don't recognize that name. Third, Guregusan. Oh, Gregson. Ah, it would seem that Tobias Gregson is the 3rd man on the list. And what's his name doing in secret government communications? Well, his last name. What's the matter, Mr. Susato? You can't read it. It's just a strange Oh, what is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense. Last name. It's J. Wilson. Wilson? John H. Wilson? You mean Daddy? It says only J. Wilson. So I'm afraid I can't be sure. Then after the 4 names, it reads, if I translate from Japanese, That is all four. And that's the end of the message. Or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris. I just can't believe it. Who would ever have thought that those discs contained Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names. We have here that this particular message is a communication of some kind between the Great Britain and the Empire of Japan. So, Daddy could be in Japan then. Where's Susie and Runo come from? Oh, well... no, it's not really very likely, really, is it? I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them. So John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. We can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. This is so strange. Somehow, in solving the case of Mr. Windibank's murder today, I feel as if I rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave. Oh, is that what it is? Asian? I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside. We'll end up in it. Geez, Sholmes, lay off the beans, man. Oh dear, the ship is going to set sail soon. Yes, it seems so. I'll sail on that steamship to the first port of Dunkirk in France. Then I'll change onto a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. You're really going then, Susie? We wish you a safe passage, Miss Susato. Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best. Miss Susato. I had hoped to have you always at my side, to guide me and support me. Please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Oh, don't make me do this. I'm quite sure. I'll be back before you know it. Really, Susie? Oh, now don't forget, Iris. I've made you a promise I've yet to fulfill. A promise? About your manuscript. Ah. Oh yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise. Definitely, Iris. Mr. Naruhodo. Do you remember the first time we met? Yes, of course. On the SS Buria, when I was dragged up in the wardrobe, still half asleep. No, it was in the... I remember rightly, you threw me halfway across this cabin with out to take down. You know very well what I'm talking about after that. Oh. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I felt somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy. Miss Susato. And my instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that. I'll be back soon. Farewell until then.
Ah, yes, your father is still here, and he's sick now.
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least. Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
They brought Waggy.
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead.
Oh, yep, that will be 118 years in the
Whatever
future.
happens,
Just about.
I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around. After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
I know. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, Mr. Sholmes? I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train, apparently. Huh? It caused such a commotion on the line, all the other trains had to wait at stations. Oh my god. But really, we would have never made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault. I know exactly what's coming. Huh? Huh? At times like this, there's only one thing I can say. I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow, according to Mr. Sato. You love defending yourself in court. Huh? 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 It's alright, I'm perfectly happy to testify. He didn't really look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See? See? Mr. Sholmes. Yes? A word, if you don't mind? Why, certainly. Any word you'd like. Bellowed out, my dear fellow. Oh yes, I love Bruno's words, and I know just the one he'll use here. And I really must say...
Objection!
Yes! They all have to end in the same way. This has been so freaking great. This was a fantastic game. Oh my god, what, just so brilliant, so fun, vibrant, full of life. The plots were interesting. All of them. Oh my... And it's only halfway through. In the following weeks, Hunters with Baker Street, there's something with a foot that transpired. I ordered them all myself. Right, the music boxes. My advertising was used by Mr. Sholmes to solve an important case. And the money I've earned, consulting detective work pays a pittance by comparison. God, I cannot wait. You know something? If I have time, I might start the second game on Sunday. Cook's is an overstatement, with some dry toast and insipid coffee. I do miss Susie and her lovely Japanese breakfasts. Oh, I miss her too. God, this cast of characters was so fucking good. Oh god, you. Witness, your testimony is riddled with contradictions. These two again. I don't know Nithos' father. Oh my god. Yeah, I think that's what I think if I have the time and I can get my work done, there'll be a Sunday stream. Sanaga, how you doing? Oh my god, Sozeki. All I did was give Loggerhead offering refuge in my pocket. A man brings some kittens on board, and suddenly he's a hardened criminal. It's not fair. God. Yeah, this has just been incredible. I don't know what to... So I definitely think... So, full disclosure, as much as I love this game, this Case 5... Well, I know it's only because that there's another game to go through. Hi, Strongheart. I still think you did something. But this Case 5 was, like, strange to me, and, like, it was really fun to play. But I think because of all the loose ends, it didn't feel as satisfying, and I think that's the intention, to get you to play the second game. But, oh my god, it did a great job of making me want to play the second one right away. And here I was planning to take, like, 2 weeks of break from the game. Like, I have to break next Friday. There won't be a stream next Friday, because I will be playing... what will I be playing again? No, I won't be playing anything. I'll be going home for the weekend. And then, the week after that Friday, I'm actually playing... So October 29th, I'll be on Junibug's channel playing Monster Prom with her, Ace Fangirl, and Sarah Bear. So that's gonna... So I'm gonna have to address some things by moving some things around. But suffice it to say, there will be Great Ace Attorney. I am not taking a break. There's not gonna be a 2-week break, okay? There will be more Great Ace Attorney. The Dicky Peg, huh? Or Mr. Gyarados. Yes? Yes, Flarker? What's up? Yeah? Good. Thank God. My Rolly's back on the beat again. Oh, she's so cute. All thanks to the Reaper. There's nothing more I enjoy more these days than hunting out small change in the gutter. I'm a better Bobby now, looking out for Londoners, their drop happenings, and my lovely wife, Sad. Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Maniacal and I had a debate over whether the better name for Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez's couple name is Benifer or Blopez. Looks like I'm gonna be doing time for a bit now. Hiatus comes every day for that matter, but ain't too bad. I may try the DLC costumes on one time. Starting case 3? Okay, good to know. Junichi. Wow. This game just... I don't even know what to say anymore. It's so incredible. And I know it's only one half of a story. So, like I said, hi Graydon. So, what was I saying? Got distracted by these guys. Look at that. No, but yeah, I think there will not be the planned 2-week break. I need to start this ASAP. And I need to play this game pretty often. So there will be a Sunday stream. As far as as barring anything terrible, there will be another Sunday stream. And it'll be at 7:30. The schedule might be a little wonky, but I need to make this stuff up. Oh, you know what I mean? Things need to happen. After this game and before the second, the escapades. Okay. Maybe I can do an escapade stream one of these days. I don't know. Or you guys could, you know, watch those yourself. I don't have to show you everything. Wow. Oh, what a good picture. Is anybody even going to be live for me to raid right now? The daughter was still one-eyed, yep. I'm gonna get a save prompt or something? Oh. Mark Ota, Bradley Clarkson, Rina Takasaki, Claire Morgan, Robert Vernon, Ben Deary, Peter DeJersey, Nigel Pilkington. Look at them. Oh, fuck this bitch right here. Whack her with that sword, Cosmo. Look at them. This is so cute. It reminds me of the ending sequence to Okami, actually. The credit. Where Ami's just walking around while Reset plays. Makes sense. It is really good. This is just a nice heartfelt way to... There he goes, because this is where he stops. Oh god, her. I felt so bad for her. I really did. Even after what she did, just... I can't even bring myself to be that mad. Same. Still feel that. This is just such a nice send-off. Just a nice little recap of everything that you've been through, all the people you've met, the things you've done. Incredible. Hey, Lord Strongy. Bobbies. Oh, Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. And Mr. Beppo. How could we forget? I mean, Gilded really isn't that short, honestly. And maybe he is. That's so meaningful. You guys don't understand how meaningful it has been to actually have my reactions to an Ace Attorney game saved. This franchise is everything to me. And to be able to finally play one after all these years for you guys and have it there to look back on, I'm so grateful. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Even if you were here, you were lurking here for like 5 minutes, I don't care. Thank you for being a part of the experience. I had so much fun, and I can't wait to do it again with the next game. There he is with his leg, my husbando. I want to learn more about his story. What is that about? Largra, what the hell is that about? You can't do that. Thank you so much. Oh, look at these, look at them. Thank you so much, dude. You didn't have to do that. Very, very sweet of you. Oh, now I'm gonna get all emotional because everything's going on at once. Just thank you for sticking by. I know the visual novel streams, especially when they go on for nearly 8 hours, aren't everyone's thing. But it really means a lot that you guys are here to support and just join me in something that is probably one of the most meaningful streams I've had in a long time. It means the world. This series will always be my child. I will love it to death. Even if there are games that I would pick ahead of it on their own merits. This series as a whole, probably my favorite series. So fantastic. Wow. Yeah, just what a great game, a great experience. Oh no, don't do that to me! Stop it! Stop it! You can't do that. No. It's alright. The VOD's right there. Wow, now that's a great mix. Well, I think it's time that I looked for somebody to raid. Poltergust is playing Metroid Prime? Holy shit. Oh, let's see what we got going on here. What the hell? I never get to raid Polter. I'll raid Poltergust 5000. And don't worry, I have a raid message in mind. It's sinful, and it'll ruin the mood of everything I just talked about, but I have one in mind. So let's see what we got here. We've got... That's the raid message. Give me Femboy Sholmes, you cowards. Let's raid Polter. I never, ever get to raid Polter, because when is the last time he's ever been going this long? Actually, he's about to end, but that's okay. We'll give him a nice send-off. Peace. I'll see you guys next time. I've said pretty much everything I need to say. No, all the best to you all, and I love you very dearly, and I will catch you later. Bye!